So, Samson, I still didn't receive my paycheck from Blockstream. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna open it up to advertisers. Like on my right side, it can be like Dash Pay. I know Ricardo is a big fan of them. Now on my left side, I can have like Roger Ver with like his bare chest and then bitch please on it. I mean, that seems what Bcash seems to be all about now lately.
Okay.
I'd also like to complain because I was told that my payment was coming in via Lightning, and I still don't know how to set up a Lightning node. It's too confusing. It's too complicated.
Well, that's your problem. We paid you over Lightning already. So.
I think we should just do an ICO.
Nice. Magical crypto coin.
Yeah.
Or we can just take advertisers on the show.
Is that why you're wearing the samurai t-shirt?
What, this one? This lovely samurai wallet t-shirt? Yes.
Oh, so you're advertising for Samurai Wallet. I get it.
How much did they pay you?
You can't tell because the privacy is so good.
One t-shirt.
Unfairly cheap.
Yes.
Okay, let's get started with the show.
Magical crypto. The best thing to do is simply to hodl. What's a young pony to do in a sea of shady ICOs? A lion's courage can light up even the darkest of shadows. Unlike the corporate suits, the whale panda is wise. A chicken dreams about the moon while soaring in the skies. As Bitcoin sees new all-time highs. Crypto. All around me I see big blockheads. Magical crypto. The best thing to do is simply to hodl. We'll always buy the dip, and we'll always be the best of the rest.
Samson, you are late again. And you're going to try to arrange everything at consensus.
Am I?
So I hope that's not that will be fine then. That we'll have a nice stage there, and that you will not end up 30 minutes late again.
Yeah, I was late because I was doing that, arranging everything at consensus on the phone. You know, talking. With
Of course, of course. And we also have Charlie again. Charlie, who now appears to be out of the closet. Was actually one of the main closets from last time that he appears to be inside the closet. Well, he's out and proud now. So there you have it.
Yeah. I came out of the closet.
Welcome, my brother.
Welcome. Welcome back.
And yeah, okay, let's start then with Ricardo. Ricardo, last time we talked a lot about the privacy through forks and the Monero hard fork, potential ASIC miners being used. But like a few days after that, Bitmain already announced that they started selling their Kryptonite miners. And at first it was like at $12,000 per piece. And then a few hours later, Halong Mining came out with miners at 4,000, and then they dropped to 4,000. But the thing about those miners was that they would be useless in 2 weeks. Before they would be delivered, they're useless in 2 weeks. And just for the record, we're recording it now on the 28th, so it's today that is a hard fork for Monero.
No, April the 5th.
Okay, that changed then.
The centralized planning committee changed it. So, you know, because Monero is just a centralized scam. So the central committee of 3 people just voted.
So what do you expect now? What will happen now that it's out, that the ASIC miners are out? Is it going to be a Monero Classic or a Monero Cash?
I mean, look, if you are heavily invested in ASIC miners, and despite all the warnings from the community leading up to this point, you thought that you could get away with it, you are going to have to do something with that. And that means either mining Electronium or Monero V or something like that, some scam, or you have to mine the old chain and hope that exchanges will pick that up. I suspect that we're going to have like a Monero Classic situation, and it's got 0 dev support, so like it's dead on arrival. You know, exchanges are going to, I mean, if they add it, that's fine, that's their prerogative. But users aren't going to go and sell their fork coins, because by doing so, they jeopardize their privacy. So there will be a limited amount of coins that will be sold, which means limited liquidity for miners to dump into anyway. There's no dev support, so what's the point?
Is there a team that is trying to keep Monero Classic going?
There hasn't been any talk of it in the community. The community is massively supportive of the proof of work tweak. So, I mean, if we'd seen rumblings in the community and there was a sufficiently vocal group that were against the proof of work change, then obviously it would be contentious and we wouldn't be making the change. But there's been maybe like 3 people that have said anything, and they've all been like, I mean, they're newcomers. It's not like established people in the community voicing serious concerns. It's noobs who are, or new accounts who are set up as like sock puppets. They're easy to spot, and we just disregard them.
I guess it's time for me to start Monero Lite.
Monero Lite Cash.
Monero ABC Lite.
Sounds good.
I read about this war that you're starting against the Bitmain. Care to tell us more?
Yeah, apparently, according to the CoinDesk article, I am single-handedly fighting Jihan. I'm pitching up with like, I've got my fists up. Jihan's all like, "Oh, fork your mother if you want to fork," and I'm like, that's me right there.
Wait. Is there like a decentralized platform where we can bet on this fight?
Yes, of course, on Ethereum.
Okay.
It's called Crypto Ponies.
Well, actually, talking about Ethereum, now they're also talking that Bitmain also developed or is developing an Ethereum ASIC.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I tend to think that like with Ethereum, it's going to be a bit harder because of for the community to become anti-ASIC because of the proof of stake thing. So it's almost like, hey, miners, you were supposed to be expecting the rug pulled out from you anyway. So what difference does it make whether it's proof of stake or ASICs?
Yeah, well, I think ETC might benefit a lot if there is a ASIC miner, and Ethereum actually does do proof of stake, but I don't think that's ever happening.
What? You don't think it will ever switch to proof of stake?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because proof of stake doesn't work. And second, if they actually do change the proof of stake, then what will they talk about?
That was funny. They could change it like a hybrid thing in order to continue to have some chain security that isn't based on fictional nonsense.
Well, that's the plan anyways, right? Going to a hybrid step and then go to full proof of stake eventually.
I stopped following that so long ago. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, I think I stopped following it 2 conferences ago.
That's how I measure my life, in conferences.
Well, if you want, you can go to a conference every day now. You can just travel the world, go to conferences, and that's all. That's all you have to do.
Yes, the life of a crypto trader.
Yeah. So what exactly are you changing on the Crypto Night algo?
So there are a couple of small tweaks. I don't actually know the technical details. I mean, at this point in time, the technical community is so large, and there were so many people that were that worked on that pull request that I have a fair degree of confidence in it. But we don't really have, like in the Monero Research Lab, there aren't cryptographers who are experts on ASICs, but they sort of like, we had the Monero Research Lab guys look over it, and then like people from randos from the outside that pitched up to say like, this tweak is good, this tweak is bad, but it's basically just small tweaks. So the aim is to keep the CPU GPU ratio the same. So even if your hash rate as a miner physically drops, everyone else's hash rate physically drops linearly, or if it goes up linearly. So you end up with that balance being kept, which of course I think in this particular instance is important. You don't want to end up with a hashing algorithm that unfairly favors some card or whatever that wasn't unfairly favored previously.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. So moving on to the next topic, something that also has been in the news the last couple of days is LitePay, Charlie. What's going on with LitePay? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So LitePay.
Let me try. It's a payment processor that scammed Charlie.
I wouldn't say they scammed me. I don't think LitePay is a scam per se. I think it's just it's a failed business, from what I can tell. So, I mean, we all had high hopes that LitePay would come out with their merchant processor. People were expecting a Visa debit card. That didn't come through. So, and then they kind of ran out of funds and couldn't find more funding and had to shut down. So it's very unfortunate. We were kind of hoping for the best, but it didn't pan out.
But how come Litecoin Foundation didn't top them up?
Because we didn't want to throw good money at bad money. So they actually came and asked for more funding from us, but we decided that it wasn't really a good way to spend our money. I mean, there are quite a few payment processors out there already that support Litecoin.
Like Globy, you know, just to mention one payment processor off the top of my head.
The one you own?
Do you happen to be the CEO of Gobly?
Charlie, as a matter of interest, how much money did they blow through?
So from what I know, so Litecoin Foundation invested $50,000 into LitePay. So I mean, it's a considerable amount, but it's not like a lot. Another investor, Shinji, invested about the same amount of money into it, and then also they were self-funded. So the CEO put a bit of his own money into it. So I don't know exactly how much they blew through. Excuse me, but we're trying to figure out like what's left and what to do with it, what they have built. And
I mean, in fairness, for like start to finish, to get Globy to the point where we processed our first payment and things were relatively stable, we probably spent $500,000 and like 2.5 years of dev. So it's not exactly an overnight process.
Yeah, I think the team just bit off more than they can chew. They just too optimistic about getting it out and making money from it, and I think they were depending on the Visa deal, which didn't go through. So,
well, is there anything else on the horizon for Litecoin?
That's it. We're screwed. Everyone sell your Litecoins. Well, like we announced, I mean, Litecoin was doing fine before LitePay even existed, and it's doing fine right now. It's just LitePay is just one of many companies that support Litecoin and Bitcoin. I mean, there's a company called LitePal that is supposed to launch fairly soon that supports Litecoin, and there's like Coinbase, Alliant, like Globy, whatever Ricardo's company is called. So I'm not worried. I mean, I think the credit card, like a crypto debit card, is an interesting solution, but I think it's just a stepping stone in terms of crypto adoption. So I was never that excited about a credit card because you're still using like the traditional credit card infrastructure. You're still paying the fees to Visa, and you still have the fraud problems. So crypto is not really helping that much when you're using crypto backed by a credit card, or a credit card backed by crypto. So I'm more excited about the merchant processing part, and we're doing well. I mean, Bitcoin is doing well also. So nothing, just a small setback in my opinion. But I think the bigger problem is just the PR aspect of it, because everyone was so excited about LitePay. It was supposed to be like the thing that saves Litecoin. I mean, it was just kind of hyped out of proportion in my mind.
Well, maybe you should have waited until they had some beta or something before you started hyping them.
To be honest, we didn't really actually hype them quite a bit, that much. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. I think the media and just people, I think because the price was down, everyone wanted something to hype. And this was just an easy thing for people to kind of grasp onto and say, this is going to save Litecoin. This is the best thing ever. And I think what we could have done was to kind of tone down the hype a bit, but we didn't. I mean, we kind of got caught, like part of it. We were too excited about it also.
Yeah. Go make some physical Litecoins.
Yeah, I'm still expecting BTCC to make physical Litecoins.
Wait, does that company still exist? I thought it turned bankrupt after Samsung left.
No, they're still there. They got bought.
But the mint is still operating, right?
Kind of, I guess. I don't see anything new.
And actually, going back to the Visa card, actually I used that quite a lot. I had a couple of them.
Which one? The LitePay Visa card?
Yeah, I used the next one. It was quite easy because you keep your balance in Bitcoin, so it only like deducts it from your Bitcoin wallet every time you make payments, so you don't have to like convert it first. So I was quite disappointed after all those Visa debit cards stopped working.
Yeah, I used the Shift, Coinbase's Shift card. That worked quite well. I mean, it's nice to keep your funds in Bitcoin, and then when you swipe it, exchange. But the problem is my card actually got stolen, and I got fraudulent charges on it, just like any other Visa card, and I lost Bitcoins because of that. The nice thing was Shift paid me back my Bitcoins, so they took the hit. I'm not sure how much money they lost from it, but it made you realize that this is just the same old thing. It's just the same crappy experience.
I wonder if the fiat that gets spent is insured, and then they're able to recover that.
I mean, I think Visa has some ways of getting back the money from the merchants. I think if merchants allow Visa, like, have fraudulent Visa charges, Visa just screws them over and says, we're not paying you.
Yeah, merchants are the ones who end up getting screwed, but what can you do?
Yeah.
So on to a more newbie topic, but one that doesn't get explained quite often. So block time. My payments is like some of the least understood things in the crypto space, or at least for the new people. So Bitcoin has an average block time of around 10 minutes, Litecoin 2.5, Monero 2 minutes. Ethereum 15 seconds.
What is Monero's block time? I don't even know.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
Used to be 1 minute, and then we were like, that's a dumb decision. Whoever did that is an idiot, and we changed it to 2.
So and then on a lot of exchanges, like you need at least 3 confirms before you can access your funds. So that for Bitcoin that's like 30 minutes, but for Ethereum it's like 3 confirms. That's like 45 seconds. So why won't you reduce the block time from Bitcoin from 10 minutes to 1 minute, and then just like cut the block reward also divide by 10?
Well, you're describing Litecoin, right? We can cut the block time down to 2.5 minutes.
Well, it's clear to everyone that 2.5 minutes is the perfect amount of time for blocks to be found.
So the reason for the block time is so the network can synchronize. Bitcoin's a flood network, so every block has to be broadcast, every transaction has to be broadcast. So it takes time for everyone to get the state of network and synchronize it. And for Bitcoin, I guess it's 10 minutes back when Satoshi set the time, and it's been working so far. And actually, with the increased block size of SegWit, it's probably safer to keep it at 10 minutes than to play with that. But it is a consensus rule, so it cannot be changed easily.
Yeah, so to add to that, I think that the 10 minutes that Bitcoin uses previously, we might have considered as extremely conservative. But with SegWit and with the size of the mining network and with the number of nodes, which is massive, I mean, it's tens and tens and tens of thousands of nodes. You just simply can't have something that's significantly smaller than that. I think that Monero's 2 minutes is pushing it. And if Monero's block started to really get to the point where or Monero's network size got to the point of Bitcoin's, we'd have to seriously consider increasing the block time in order to compensate for that massive size of the network. And like Samson said, that flood full effect where every node needs to see everything.
Okay, that's clear.
I think the exchanges accepting 3 confirmations, I think they're doing it wrong. So they're like 3 Litecoin confirmation is less secure than 3 Bitcoin confirmations. So in terms of like what's the same amount of security, it's complicated to calculate, but you have to at least wait the same amount of time, right? Even if you wait the same amount of time, Bitcoin is still more secure because there's more money. It costs more money to attack Bitcoin for 30 minutes than it costs to attack Litecoin or any other coins for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So they should actually reduce the confirmation for Bitcoin to like maybe just 1 confirmation if they want.
They should really be doing it on a sliding scale where, like, if you're depositing $5 Like, you can almost zero conf that. And if you're depositing $5 million, well, sorry, buddy, you got to wait 4 or 5 confirmations.
Actually, now you brought up another interesting topic. Zero confirmation. That's like the holy grail for Bcash.
I saw someone like tweeted in the Bcash camp saying, we need everyone to accept zero confs and we need chains of zero confs.
What? We need zero confs to be confirmed by Craig Wright and Roger Ver.
Exactly.
Right? And then you can trust it. So you send the zero confirmation transactions to Roger signs it, and you're good.
Why is there so much confusion over how this stuff works? It's not that difficult.
Seems like Bcash community is like 4 years behind. They're trying things that Bitcoin has already tried 4 years ago.
No, they're like 10 years behind.
Yeah, well, yeah. You have the same thing with they like reviving all the failed businesses, like the sending coins through text message and stuff like that. All those things.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that. I've seen like some of their propaganda, and it was like, we're bad people because we don't trust other people. And they had this like cartoon where some lady bought something and someone paid with it with a zero conf transaction, and the lady's like, thank you for your business. And they're saying, you know, you should be able to trust everybody because everyone's a nice person, and because we don't like zero conf, we're bad people.
Dude, most of the scammers I know are extremely nice people.
Yeah, you're nice from time to time, Ricardo.
Yeah.
Only on Tuesdays.
So okay, yeah, but it's the whole narrative. I mean, they started doing what was it now? There was something else that they like the min relay fee and stuff like that. They want to change everything back to how it was before, and they think like, oh, I don't know why this is implemented here, so I'll just remove it and see what happens.
Well, here's the trick. They can't go forwards and develop new tech, so they can only go backwards.
But well, I think that the zero confirmation has to do with to compete with Lightning, obviously. So that's the whole reason, because Lightning is instant, and they also need something that's instant, or it's like inferior technology. It's obviously inferior technology, but they need something like to make themselves feel better about it.
Well, I for one think they totally should do all zero confs, everybody in the network, and the exchanges that support Bcash, because that is the true vision. So
let's talk about something else, like MtGox. That's also been a pretty big topic lately. So most of you heard about probably the MtGox trustee. I don't know if you can call someone like that a trustee. Sold $400 million worth of Bitcoin and Bcash since September 2017, and now it appears that he stopped selling until the next hearing, which is in September 2018. Because basically they cover now all the debt in fiat money. So if you had money on MtGox before, it's not calculated in Bitcoin, it's calculated in yen, I believe. And that's now completely covered. So there are like an insane amount of Bitcoin left. But first of all, the trustee said that he didn't dump it on the market, and you shouldn't look at the charts. But don't look at the charts. I didn't dump it on the market, because of course when you go check the charts, you see every time when he dumps. But he told you not to check the charts, so don't check the charts. But the dates line up like perfectly. So did you guys lose money on MtGox? And what do you think will happen with like the rest of Bitcoin? Does it go back to Carplus now, or that's left, or?
Oh, I didn't lose anything on Gox, fortunately. But I don't think Carplus will ever see the money. If he ever got any benefit from all of this, I'm pretty sure someone would go after him.
Well, legally speaking, doesn't the money still belong to the entity? And what happens when an entity that was previously bankrupt has some realization of assets or whatever, and they're no longer bankrupt? Then they're out of that bankruptcy state and they're a going concern?
That's probably never happened before, so I'm not sure if there's prior casework on that.
That is true.
When can something go bankrupt suddenly have money again?
No, it's happened. It's happened. I mean, in the States, you can file for chapter whatever, and then you can actually work your way out of that. and you can become unbankrupt.
Okay, but you wouldn't ever see the case where you get back all the money to pay everyone back and still have change left over.
But that's literally the definition of becoming unbankrupt.
But this is pretty excessive. How much do they have left still?
Yeah, it's totally excessive. It's
like $1 billion.
It's like $1 billion, yeah.
Well, I think it's not $1 billion anymore. Not that the price has come down, but
Okay, $700 million. Oh dear.
Yeah, I don't think he would ever get the money though. It just wouldn't work. I mean, they would just go after him for it if he ever touched it.
But he's the primary shareholder. I mean, I don't know what their cap table looks like, but they could take the money and continue operating. And in fact, they could pivot. They wouldn't need to operate it as an exchange. I don't think that Mark could personally take like a big paycheck, but they could definitely continue operating, and he can earn a fat salary.
Are you trying to partner with Mark Karpeles?
No. I'm just ethically, I have a problem with it, but I think that legally he has scope to do that.
Maybe.
Well, I'm still waiting for MtGox to release the Midas engine.
And Litecoin.
Now you ruined my next question. When is Litecoin going to be on MtGox?
Soon, hopefully 2 weeks.
But Karpeles himself said that he was thinking about bringing back the exchange. So there's that. I don't know.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah, it's a scary thought, and you would think that no one would trade there, but at the same time, you know that people, the newer people, they don't know the history, so they will just say, "What's a new exchange? Why not?"
Listen, if he actually resurrects MtGox and plows a bunch of money into building, building decent software that isn't PHP and MySQL, then I would not be surprised if that's what happens. And they've got these fat cash reserves. It would just be another day in crypto.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you're saying, Fluffy Pony, you would trade on MtGox if it came back?
As you guys know, I lost all of my private keys in a terrible boating accident. So unfortunately, I can't trade anywhere. Not even on the new MtGox. Maybe we can call it Valley Gox.
Crater Gox. So a question that came from Mir is if we watched the Satoshi Vision conference, the live streams. I don't know if you guys did. I'm sure you all three did watch the entire stream from all 3 days. I mainly watched the funny recaps.
I watched the recaps too.
I watched the intro,
Yes, that was crazy. So I tried to sit through Roger and Craig's talk, but I really couldn't. I think Dan Darkpill's slides made up for most of it.
Yeah, those are great slides.
Yeah, that was amazing. The three things that stood out for me was, first of all, that Peter Risen, the BU chief scientist, was asking Craig like generally good questions about double spend, and Craig's reply was, "I don't give a shit." So that was interesting. Maybe there's some drama brewing there. Then the second day, some of the attendees were interviewed, and from all the interviews, it seemed like most of them were just there to find funding for their own projects. So like they were not interested in Bcash or at all. They just wanted like to realize their own projects, which like sounded a bit like consensus or something like that. And of course, you had the third thing, obvious thing, was that there were again naked women or almost naked women with "Bitch Please" everywhere painted on their bodies. That's my three like recaps.
It's I don't know. This stuff is so classless, and it's not like I'm not singling this conference out, but this like let's dress a bunch of women up in bikinis thing is just it's not even fun,
I remember Bitcoin did that like 4 years ago, and it was immediately like called out, and people stopped doing that.
Panda, I think your summary is pretty accurate.
Okay. Didn't you say earlier that they were 4 years behind? So that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a 4-year-old Bitcoin conference, but with more swearing.
Now, but serious question: Did any of you guys actually watch any of the talks from Satoshi Vision?
A little bit of Roger Ver's talk.
I watched the summary of day one. That was a pretty good one. It was a lot of yeah. And I watched the slow clap Craig Wright summary video. That was good too.
No, it was actually funny that they were mentioning us in the troll box. It was like a live chat. Someone pointed out to us that they were actually talking about magical crypto crap or something like that.
It's unfortunate because I don't think that, at least from my perspective, I try not to choose any particular sides. But yeah, you know, bad projects are bad.
At least they're thinking about us.
We're always on their mind.
It's because we're a cult, and we are encouraging children to join our cult.
And the beta is out now, version 0.4, and like the Lightning network is really growing like crazy now. And Blockstream is doing a week of labs or something like that. Maybe Samsung can elaborate on that.
So we are
First of all,
launching.
Labs is a bad name.
Yeah, I can barely do
Labs
one
is a
lap,
bad
guys.
name.
Come on, change the name.
What would you do? What would you do, Charlie?
It's called like LN apps, right? Lab.
LN apps? I don't know. It's kind of to show that it's.
Well, I think like labs or even dApps is just a bad like acronym. It's pretty stupid in my opinion.
People started using labs because of dApps, I think. So we just decided to use the standard.
Okay, so is something built on Monero a map?
It is.
The reason why it's bad is because you're stealing Litecoin apps, so
Oh,
you can't use labs anymore.
Oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah, but those won't come out for about 10 years, right?
Yeah, sadly.
So is Lightning then the first BAP?
Yeah.
Because it's built on Bitcoin, and then Laps are built on Litecoin.
What is it again?
I'm just trying to figure out the
Lightning is
hierarchy.
built on what?
It's built on
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, so it's the first BAP. Create your BAP today.
Yeah, but Lightning starts with L, so...
So a lap is a dApp and is a BAP.
Yes. And also, if Blockstream create apps, they're also called BAPs, which is very confusing.
Yeah, that's why we're just going to call them labs.
So if Blockstream released a way for like strippers to pay with Lightning, then it would be a lap.
I'm not going to comment. I think you should go to your Bcash conference. Right in.
What about the Blockstream True Vision conference? I'm waiting for that, guys.
That's it. Isn't that consensus? Okay, so Blockstream, we're doing a week of labs, Lightning apps. They're little applications, web apps that can show people what they can do with Lightning. So we started with File Bazaar. It's a lab that lets you sell digital items like photos or documents. And then we had Lightning Publisher, which allows you to publish and collect payments. So it's kind of a replacement for a lot of the altcoin-based publishing platforms out there. Then we had NanoTip. That was a third lap, and it's a basically tipping system like ChangeTip or something like that, but based on Lightning. And then we had pay per call, so you can pay someone to do an API call. And then we had NanoPOS. Someone said we should call it Anton NanoPOS. That was a good one. But it's basically a point of sales terminal. After that, we had If Pay TT. So that's basically Lightning micropayments on IFTT. If this, then that. And the seventh lap is a Lightning Jukebox, which is pretty fun. And that rounds off the week of laps.
So that lab hasn't been announced yet, but it will be announced by the time this airs.
Yeah.
So now that I know, I'm going to go tweet about it and change the future.
Yeah. Or why don't you go short Lightning? Samson, I'm also doing a week of laps.
Keep going. That's only one. That's not even a day.
Hey, look, you guys only did 7. I did 1. Okay, it's good enough. That's all my exercise for the week.
So, Samson, did you create any laps yourself? Because it will be SAPs then, or what?
Yes. I think it's getting old now.
Yeah? Okay.
If you did one, it'd be a WAP. There we go.
It'll be a WAP and a PAP.
Okay, so going to the comments of our viewers. was actually one really good one. Since it takes so long to get a new episode, I'm going to start making episodes to fill in the time in between. It's very easy. All you do is have to wear a loud t-shirt like Ricardo, make fun of Bcash, and blame everything on Charlie selling his Litecoin. That's actually the entire show.
Sounds right.
Like perfect
pretty
recap.
Much. Spot on.
Cool. Yeah. Welcome to the Magical Crypto Friends cult.
Yes.
So an interesting question actually, because I'm in kind of the same situation. So I have crypto that I'm going to give to my grandkids to travel when they turn 18. Of course, for me it's not grandkids, for me it's kids. In at least 10 years. My job is to protect it. I have it in KeepKey and Ledger. Do you have any suggestion for long-time holders? Love you guys.
Love you too.
We love you too.
So, do you have any special suggestions for people who don't want to touch their crypto for like 10 years or longer? Should they keep it in a hardware wallet, or should they keep it stored in a paper wallet or another way? Or
well, we don't know. We don't know how long the hardware wallets will last. But
Yeah.
at least you have the seed. It's okay, right? And it's convenient too. So I would go with hardware wallet, and then maybe make 2 copies of the seed and put them in different places, or cut them up and put them in even more places.
And also like store the seed in something like crypto steel, so that at least it's got some longevity. 10 years is kind of a long time, and there is probably going to be entropy in that hardware wallet's not going to work and the browser plugin no longer exists. But I think we can say with a fair degree of confidence that there will be tools to take that seed and convert it into Bitcoin private keys or whatever in 10 years' time.
Yeah. 10 years is not that long though, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, you have to be a bit careful about things changing. Something like quantum computing could make your private keys vulnerable, so you have to like upgrade. So you can't just like put something away for 10 years and forget about it. You still have to like follow what's going on. But there's stuff like crypto steel where you can put the seed into like a steel thing that is really hard to destroy, and just put it in a bank vault and then make sure it's password protected. Make sure you have a password on it, and save that password in a few different places.
Something else that might not be a bad idea is using something like BitGo's system, because BitGo is not really custodial. They're a multi-sig provider, and so they own one of the keys, you own one of the keys, and you have a backup key. So at least if BitGo goes out of business or goes rogue or whatever, you can still recover your funds. But then you have the added advantage of BitGo being able to handle things like system upgrades and that without you typically needing to worry.
Yeah, but if you're just waiting 10 years, you don't need to upgrade anything. Just keep your seed.
Yeah, but like Charlie was saying, I mean, like if quantum computers come out and there's a whole new key format that we need to switch to.
I forgot what it's called, but we use it in the BTCC coins, so it doesn't degrade over time. So that's like a cheap crypto steal.
Do you trust it?
It should be okay. It's tested, like at least the paper is tested. The question is the ink, like what kind of ink are you using and what is it? But I would just use like a Sharpie. It should last 10 years, if not.
The worst is like you put it away and then 10 years later it's worth so much money and you open it and it's blank.
I'm pretty sure that you'd be able to still recover it though. The residue would, as long as you don't handling it, the residue would be okay. Have to get some specialized service, like something to do with the black light.
You know, the real answer is just send the coins to us. We'll keep it for you.
Yeah,
We're launching Magical Crypto Vault next year.
Yes, it's the first map.
When will Charlie Lee host the first Satoshi Vision conference?
That's a good question. We're actually thinking about doing a Litecoin conference later on this year, so pretty soon. I don't think we're going to call it Satoshi Lights Vision Conference, but I think it's just going to be called Litecoin Conference. So we'll see.
And any idea where?
Probably San Francisco.
In his closet.
Yeah, in my closet. I have a huge closet. I paid for with the Litecoins I sold.
At all-time high.
I told people it's actually $100 above the all-time high because I'm awesome.
So another question is, what are your thoughts on the current market manipulation by whales? And that's actually, that question doesn't make much sense because every market is being manipulated.
But crypto markets are a lot easier to manipulate because A, they're filled with noobs, and B, they're largely illiquid.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's a question that comes up a lot, and it doesn't make much sense to, like, it's quite obvious. Every market is being manipulated. When will Fluffy Pony release his birth certificate and prove he's not a donkey? It's our fans, man. So, yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, like, you know, no one's ever accused me of being a donkey before. I mean, they've accused me of being an ass. Sure, but a donkey?
Isn't that the same thing?
No, they're distinct animals. That's like, is a zebra same as a horse?
What's a zebra? I've heard of a zebra.
Yeah, you guys pronounce it weirdly. What's a Z? It's a Z. Get it right, guys.
But you know that he has zebras in his own backyard, so...
Wait, so what do you call Zcash?
So that's a good question, Samson. I actually do call it Zcash, but when I say Zcash to Americans, they go, "What's that? Is that a new ICO? How do I buy in?" So now I just say Zcash.
Okay.
What are the best crypto conferences to attend? If you're interested in tech and implementations thereof.
Yeah, breaking Bitcoin, scaling Bitcoin, hodl. CCC has got a really good crypto corner. DEF CON, not so much, but we're trying to work on something.
Satoshi's Visions conference.
Those are the best.
It's about tech, not like how did Peter Risen say it again? Illogical technobubble.
The BitConnect conferences I've heard are very good if you're into fireworks.
Unfortunately, they don't happen anymore, sadly.
BitConnect!
No, but actually also the Hackers Conference in Prague is great. It always has quite a decent crypto crowd, Bitcoin, Litecoin crowd, so that is also always very interesting. Of course, not really that much focused on tech at that conference.
There was talk about making a new conference this year too. I think Tone Vase, Francis Pouliot, and a few other people were chatting about that, maybe in the summer.
Do we need more conferences?
Why not?
Well, tech conferences, as long as it's not filled with ICOs. But that was also a problem with scaling Bitcoin last year. Apparently, the quality of it went down quite a lot compared to the previous years, and there was some ICO shilling and stuff like that. So then I think breaking Bitcoin was better for
a lot of people organizing scaling went to organize breaking. That's what there's like a bit of a split.
Oh, and one I forgot about is BPACE, the Bitcoin Protocol and Security Engineering Conference.
Yes.
That happens at Stanford in January.
Yeah. See, all the good technical conferences don't get much publicity.
They don't.
They're just doing their own thing.
Yeah, BPACE is truly excellent. It's not just Bitcoin stuff, even though the name seems to imply that. There's also Ethereum and Monero and other altcoin research being published there. So it's pretty good.
It's very research heavy. I think Russell O'Connor went there to talk about simplicity.
Yep.
Next question. Hi, crypto friends. Satoshi designed the P2P decentralized cash system without banks. Isn't it time to design P2P decentralized internet with blockchain technical you work on? What are your thoughts on about Blockstack and in combination with the Bitcoin blockchain?
Why would you need a blockchain for decentralized internet? That makes no sense. Does Tor need a blockchain?
Well, only if they're doing an ICO.
Yeah, apparently. This obsession with blockchain everything is even worse than the obsession with decentralized everything.
So you're not a fan of decentralized internet?
They're the same thing, right?
I don't think we need decentralized internet. What we need is we need an internet with encryption built in at the base level. I think that's what we need.
Also, I think if you had like a physical mesh network and interesting ways of going cross border, and you used something like Speedy Murmurs instead of Ford Fulkerson, then you could end up with a reasonably fast, reasonably adept internet. Also, one thing that's really interesting is nowadays, especially, bandwidth is still pretty pricey, and on a mesh network doubly so, but storage is cheap. So we could distribute and duplicate data across the world, no problem, over this mesh network, and then just have more localized retrieval instead of having to go to the origin as we do right now.
It'll still be tricky to get that to some high performance level. I think Blockstack, what they're doing is interesting. They're trying to layer on top of it, right? And I think the stuff that Elon Musk wants to do, like put the micro CubeSats in space for internet, that's interesting too. But it's not really a new internet. So I don't think anyone's tackling that because it's a pretty big problem to get that level of performance and keep it decentralized.
Okay. Will Monero use a Lightning Network?
So as you may or may not know, Monero has serious scalability problems because our transactions are physically larger than Bitcoin's, and because we can't throw away old transaction outputs because they're used in ring signatures. I mean, there's obviously various approaches that we're taking to addressing scalability on-chain, but we're also needing to take a look at off-chain mechanisms like Lightning. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're already going down the road of building out a Lightning router, and that's something that has to happen. And if there are other things that come along, other scaling mechanisms, then we'll adopt those too. I think that the community as a whole is happy to embrace whatever scaling mechanism that is available, and people will have a choice to use whatever they want.
Okay, well, that was most of the questions. But Samson, you want to talk about the poll you did on Twitter about the altcoins?
Did I retweet it? Because if I retweeted it, it's obviously Litecoin.
Well, it was Litecoin.
It was Litecoin. Litecoin won with 56%, then Ethereum at 33%, then Dogecoin at 7%, and Bcash at 4%. There's 30,000 votes, so it's a pretty big poll.
But of course, you blocked all the Bcash guys, so they couldn't vote.
Yeah.
That's kind of vote manipulation.
And all those votes were bought?
It's funny, a lot of Bcash people said, we can't vote in this because calling it Bcash is too disrespectful.
Yeah, I didn't retweet it because I didn't want to affect the outcome. But
it's pretty indicative. I think Litecoin, that sounds about right.
If you would have Litecoin and Monero, this will be more interesting.
yeah, why didn't you include Monero?
He doesn't like Monero.
There's only 4 options. You can only put 4 options on the poll, and plus I don't want to...
Yeah, you picked Doge over Monero.
Well, it sounds better. Like, people would rather buy Dogecoin than Bcash. But also, I didn't want to de-anonymize the Monero people, right?
Okay, so you just wanted to fit your narrative that Doge is better than Bcash. Okay.
This is clear manipulation and is entirely in line with what we're trying to do as the cult.
Hey, it works.
Oh, I got something to share with you guys in Consensus in May. So I got this from a guy in Japan, Eric, and he said he wants to share it with you for Magical Crypto. It's Tokyo Banana Kit Kat.
It's going to survive the trip all the way to Consensus unmelted.
Yes.
What's so good about this specific Kit Kat that we should all eat it?
It's Tokyo banana flavored. It's like a popular dessert.
If you've ever been to Tokyo, there's like 1,000 different flavors of Kit Kat there.
True.
Okay, and on that bombshell, we'll end the show. So see you guys next time at Consensus. We're going to try to do a live stream there. So this show you've probably seen like 1-2 weeks, probably somewhere on YouTube. But Samson will find us a conference room, maybe on the main stage, who knows. And we'll broadcast it live.
We'll try.
Should be fun. Okay. See you guys.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So if Craig Wright releases an app for Bitcoin Cash, is that a crap?
Okay, we're done.
Bye.